Brakataya Hawa, Brakataya Shai, Brakataya Hawa, Brakataya Shai, Brakataya Hawa, Brakataya Hawa, Bashim, Hawa Shai, Bahashim, Gagudash. The belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. I want to say salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. On the pre-Shemon, I'm coming with a relatively quick lesson, man, titled pretty much the pride of their heart has deceived you, you know. And who has it deceived? The so-called white man. All right, he's lifted up in pride. He thinks that nobody could take him down, that he's going to be in his rulership forever. America's going to continue forever. He's so proud, in fact, that out of all the nations on the planet Earth, this man is going to fight against Yahweh Shai himself. He's going to fight against the Most High himself. And this is Psalms 49:11. It says their inward thought is, or their mind, their counsels, you know, their think tanks, okay, that they come together and conspiring, is that their houses shall continue forever, right? So this man, that's how come when they make these movies and they go into the future, they have movies set in the future, who's on top? The so-called white man's on top, you know? Oh, some might say, oh, the Moabites on top, so-called Chinese. That's all bullshit, man. Next up, according to this, was that 2 Ezra 6:7-9, all right, Esau is the end of the world. Now, who's Esau? Esau means Ishashua, which is wasted away is he. Okay, what's wasted away from the so-called white man? His pigmentation. That's what Isaac called him when he came out of the womb. Like, oh, Ishashua, you know, his pigment is wasted away. So Esau, Edom, mine, okay, he thinks that his kingdom is going to rule forever. First of all, the Lord's people are in subjection, man. We're catching hell. The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are catching hell. You think the Most High is not a merciful power? He's not gonna have his people catch hell forever, man. If after 1,000 years, all right, the friggin' nations are gonna get a fair shake, then how much more his people that have not been getting a fair shake for thousands of years, man? Because we was in captivity under the Greeks, we was in captivity under the Romans, we was in captivity under damn near every nation under the sun, man. So the Most High eventually is gonna turn things around, man, make things right side up. It says their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. And that's what the so-called white man does, all right? Because the scriptures tell you through children and the naming of a city, does a man continue his name. So the so-called white man, to keep his, that's how come you have George Washington Avenue, George Washington Bridge, Lincoln Center, and these different things, man. They name these things. America is named after Amerigo Vespucci, okay? Which he didn't discover America. First of all, the Native Americans, which are Israelites, tribe of Gad, were here before them, man. So how the fuck could they discover something where people were already at, man? But that's what they do, because that's the spirit of Cain. I'm gonna get a precept real quick. Because the first city ever mentioned in the Bible, all right? I'm not saying it was the first city ever created, all right? Look, let's read it. Genesis 4:7. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bare Enoch, and he builded a city and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. See, that's the spirit of Cain. That's the spirit of the so-called white man, to name things after themselves. Alexandria, Egypt. All right. Antioch. Lacedonia, all these things are named after Edomite man and Edomite. But what do? When we find a plot of land, we name it after the Most High. All right, we might just name it a city of peace, you know, or the dwelling of the Most High. We give the Most High credit, but this man, okay, he wants his name to continue, so he named things after himself, man, and it does work. All right, again, George Washington Avenue and all that. You think of George Washington, you think about his history, okay. So they think that they're going to be doing these things forever, going around, conquering nations, putting westernized views on everybody in the world, and pretty much what he's doing now is what he's always done. A new world order sort of system, man. Because Antiochus, Antiochus Epiphanes, okay? He said he wanted everybody to be one. So did Alexander. And so does the so-called white man today. He wants everybody to be one. That's how come when you go to Japan, all right, the Japanese, they're not even embracing their culture. They're wearing suit and ties, and their city's looking like New York. The only one that's really rebelling right now is Ishmael, all right? Them Arabs. They go hard. They'll damn near blow themselves up before they accept this westernized bullshit, you know? But pretty much the whole world is going under the way of how the so-called white man wants to run. He wants the whole world to be upside down, feminist, effeminate men, masculine woman. It's complete madness, man. And going against every single scripture that's written, every law, statute, and commandment in the Bible, he wants to go against it, man. Because he's the devil. Obadiah 1 and 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. And the so-called white man is despised, man. You got nations calling him the great Satan, because everywhere this man goes, he brings nothing but hell and destruction. You know, they like to say, oh, when a nigga come in the neighborhood, there goes the neighborhood. But when a fucking Edomite, a so-called white man come in your country, there goes the entire country, man. What has this man made better than the planet Earth? All right? He polluted the air, the water, and the land, man. You got animals beaching themselves, man. As it is written, when the wicked are in power, the people mourn. But when the righteous bear rule, the people rejoice. And nobody's rejoicing right now. People are worrying about their taxes. They're worrying about bills. They're worrying about their health. All right? Who's putting all this stress on the planet Earth? The so-called white man. He runs every goddamn thing, man. And the Rothschilds and these different elites that have all the gold and have all the riches, they could solve this thing overnight, man. But they choose not to. Why? Because they're the perfect devil, man. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathens, thou art greatly despised. It says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Right. In the book of Ezekiel, it says, the deceived and the deceiver are his. Belong to the Most High. So the Most High has put the spirit of pride, put the spirit of deception in the so-called white man to think that he's God. Why do you think he has cameras everywhere? He wants to monitor everything you do. All right, he set up social media so people could tell him where they at and how they thinking and everything, man. He wants to be like the Most High, because the Most High has the ability to be omnipresent, man. The Most High is everywhere. He knows what you're thinking, what you're gonna think, everything, man. So the so-called white man's trying to emulate that with his technology, man. But at the end of the day, you could never be the Most High. It says, the pride of thy heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. And the so-called white man, well, let me continue, clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high. So when you look up this man's history, they was always dwelling in the mountains. That's how they call them cavemen. All right, and that's when you go to the city out here in New York, you go to Manhattan, it's nothing but giant caves, man. Look at them. It's just a big tall rock with different holes in it, just like they use light, man. And they love being up there high. In fact, when you get an apartment complex down there in the city of Manhattan, all right, the higher you go up, the more expensive the apartment is. Because that's that proud nature. That's the nature of that spirit of an eagle. And that's what they embrace. That's their spirit animal, the eagle, because the eagle flies above every bird. So the so-called white man likes to be up in these penthouses, looking down on everybody saying, look, I'm the alpha predator, you know? That goddamn pride. It says, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? So in other words, who's going to take me out my rulership? I'm going to be ruling forever. Nobody can stop me, not even the Most High. The so-called white man pretty much can convince a lot of people in this world to not believe in the Most High, to not think that Yahweh Shah is coming back. But it don't matter, as it is written in the book of Romans, the 3rd chapter, and the 3rd verse, for what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? God forbid. Let the Most High be true and every man a liar, man. So these words and these prophecies are going to come to pass. Isaiah 55 and 11 tells us that the words of the Most High does not go out void, man. So though you think that you're going to rule forever, though you think that you're going to take the Most High's son down when he come back, all that shit is just deceiving you, man. Verse 4, thou exalt thyself as the eagle. Right, and that's an animal that's associated with the so-called white man, whether it's the Roman Empire, because they had the Roman eagle, the Greeks, all right, they had the eagle. And what's on your dollar bill today? And the American eagle. It's all about the eagle. That's what this man, he embraces. As it is written, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. And that doesn't stop at the Edomites over here. Russia, you know, Russia and different parts of Eastern Europe and Western Europe, they have eagles, man. They embrace it because they come in the spirit of an eagle, man. A predator that overlooks every other bird. Pride, a proud bird. A unlawful bird too. It says, thou though exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou though set thyself amongst the stars, Thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. Exactly, man. All right. So the Most High is going to bring this man down any damn way, and those joint with him, because you have 2/3 of our own people that's going to be fighting along with the so-called white man against our Lord. All right. You got so-called black Native Americans and Latino pilots, air pilots, and the Marines and all that that's going to fight against Yahushua when he come back. But though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished. So the ones of you niggas out there that have joined with the so-called white man, even you Israelites out there that took that 501c3 charter to stop teaching this word in its full entirety, the Most High got something planned for y'all, man. Death. Okay? If you turn your back on the Lord, you'll turn your back on anybody, man. All right, and guess what? The Most High done turn his back on y'all. The ones that are sold out. Proverbs 16 and 18. Pride goeth before destruction. Right, man. So, and there's another scripture that says pride goes before destruction, but honor goes before humility. So you're supposed to walk this earth humble, meaning of the earth. All right, because what's lower than the ground? Nothing. If you go as low as the ground, then you have nowhere to fall. So you're supposed to be a humble individual. But the so-called white man in this fucking generation that we live in, everybody's freaking proud, man. Everybody's about themselves. Nobody's giving credit to the Most High in this society, man. When I say nobody, I mean the general population, man. Wickedness. It says, pride goeth before destruction, and they will be destroyed. So-called white man, all right, the people in this earth that are saying, believe what they want to believe and damn near adopted the ways of the so-called white man. When all hell breaks loose, you're going to be seeking the prophets and this truth, okay, early, but it won't be found. It says, pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. That's why it's key to be humble. 19 says, verse 19 tells us, better it is to be of an humble spirit with the lowly, than to divide the spoils with the proud. Who's the humble and the lowly right now? Us, man, the ones that are doing this work. The ones that have forsaken certain things in this world that conflicts with this truth. And who's the proud? The proud is the rest of the world, man. All right, the ones that have sought to seek their life and gain all matters of riches and fame, okay? And in doing so, gave up their morals. Okay? Put the scriptures behind them for a fucking purse. Because the Most High is seeing everything and jotting everything down. So you want to be known as an individual that kept lowly, suffered the affliction, and taught this word. No matter who the hell comes at you, no matter what you have to lose in this place, you know that you're going to get it 100-fold in the kingdom of heaven, man. And that takes faith to believe that, man. It takes faith to believe this thing, which is the evidence of things not seen, but the things that are hoped for. The Most High got to give you that faith, man. Ephesians 2 and 8. Jeremiah 49 and 15. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. All right, the so-called white man is very despised among pretty much everybody, man. They might fear him and listen to his rules, but people hate the so-called white man because all he do is bring destruction. He's not pro-life, he's pro-death, man. All right? Look at the ghettos, man, full of abortion clinics and food that will destroy you. Who's setting that up? Verse 16, thy terribleness, and if you have jakes that say, look, man, I'm not going to eat this bullshit, I'm going to go somewhere else, then guess what they do? They make it expensive as hell, man. They incentivize you to eat unhealthy, all right, and discourage you to want to eat right. Because they make this shit pricey as hell when it doesn't even have to be. It says, thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, that holdest the height of the hill. Thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. And the so-called white man, all right, got space stations, satellite stations. Look, man, when these missiles go off, this man is going to be in the outermost parts of space, right above, up there in space, flying out. And you got that guy Richard Branson creating that space thing, okay, with the wealthy could fly out there, in space and all that. So this man is setting his habitations every damn where. But guess what? Even if you go to the stars or dig down to hell, as it says in the book of Amos, we're going to get your ass. All right? The Lord's going to put the Spirit on us to get you, to put you down hardcore bondage after this place is destroyed. It says, also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. So Edom, okay, it's pretty much America. All right, because this is where the heart of these Edomites dwell here in America. It's going to be a complete desolation, man. All right, after these missiles hit it. It says, it says, as in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighboring cities. How did Sodom and Gomorrah go out? Through fire and brimstone, man. That's how America is going to go out. It's also going to go out through fire and brimstone, saith the Lord. No man shall abide there, neither shall the Son of Man dwell in it. And people are still dwelling in the land of Edom today. That's just south of the land of Judah. Okay? But this desolation of Edom, America, ain't nobody going to inhabit this shit after it's destroyed but desert creatures, man. Okay? As it says in the book of Revelations, it's going to be a place for wild beasts and uncaged birds and such. You know? It's going to be a monument of what not to do. Exactly. It's going to be a monument of what to do if you want to be destroyed and disappoint the Most High. Okay? So with that in mind, what manner of person we ought to be, knowing that this shit is all going to burn up in fervor of heat, okay? In all holy conversation, man. With that, I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakodash, a double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Sadakim that do this thing in their most truth and sincerity, and Shalom Akim. Till next time, Lord will.